Well, the Ford government laid out its priorities for the new legislative session today. And responding to the trade war with the U.S., that was chief among them. Lieutenant Governor Edith Dumont delivered the speech from the throne this afternoon. It's meant to set the agenda for the sitting of the legislature. It included a promise to build a tunnel under the 401 to tackle GTA gridlock and pledged unprecedented amounts of energy production. The speech also focused heavily on guarding Ontario against the impact of American tariffs and making the economy more resilient.
The strength of Ontario's economy and the social programs it funds can no longer depend on a partner that has proven itself to be fundamentally unreliable. Instead, your government will build an economy that is more competitive, more resilient, and more self-reliant.
And joining us right now for a reaction to the throne speech is Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown. Mayor Brown, thanks a lot for taking time to speak with us. Before we go further, I'd like to read an excerpt and get your take on this. Quote, build the local infrastructure needed to unlock new homes, following the example of leaders like Mayor Stephen Del Duca of Vaughan and Mayor Carolyn Parrish of Mississauga. The province will leverage these growing investments to work with the municipalities to lower their costly local development fees that add hundreds of thousands of dollars to the cost of a new home for Ontario families. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the Ford government is very serious about enabling housing, and it's important. There's a lot of people who look at home ownership as a distant dream, that there isn't a balance of housing and employment lands. In Brampton, we're a little bit different. You know, we are 20% employment, 80% residential. We have one of the highest residential components, breakdowns in a city. But even in Brampton, where we have an abundance of residential, we're pushing to get more housing on faster and look forward to working with our provincial partners.
And along with that, Mayor Brown, where does the story of Brampton, the narrative of Brampton, fit into this speech, into this vision?
Let's say we have a great relationship with the provincial government. They're currently building an underground tunnel into our downtown as part of LRT Phase 2. We just started the construction of our second hospital, serving our growing population. Listen, we're the fastest growing city in Canada, and so provincial support is integral for some of these services. What caught my attention in this speech was really about protecting jobs. You know, we have a large automotive sector in Brampton with Stellantis, with 8 Magna plants. I just toured 3 businesses today that are all connected to the auto sector, and I'm worried about those jobs. I'm worried about these livelihoods that are at risk because of Trump's attack on the Canadian economy. And to have a provincial government that is focused on that is making assurances that they're going to stand up for our auto sector, I think is important. We're facing a threat, and I know families in my community are worried.
And along with that, you know, this is a 19-page plan, vision. What was missing from this as it relates to the people of Brampton?
Like I said, we have a great relationship with the provincial government. Our biggest asks have already been approved in terms of the LRT Phase 2 and the new hospital, and we're actually getting a medical school that's opening this summer as well. So I wouldn't say it's really about what's missing. We want to continue this collaborative relationship with the provincial government and deal with the threats that we're facing. I'm worried that these Trump tariffs could push Canada into a recession, and I really want to make sure that for the businesses that are facing this threat right now, that we help them retain these jobs, diversify trading partners. You know, the throne speech spoke about tearing down interprovincial trade barriers. I'd also say let's lean into some of our other trade relationships around the world and help identify trade exports for some of the companies that may be losing contracts in the U.S.
And Mayor, as we wrap up, let's talk more about what that collaborative relationship will look like moving forward.
Well, there's lots of work still to go. You know, we have a regional cancer center we're working on. I think there's aspects of our court administration that need to be improved so we don't have cases thrown out. And so there's always files on the table that require provincial collaboration, but I'm pretty happy with the level of collaboration we're having. And, you know, I would say the Premier is very good at reaching out on a regular basis to see how he can help. And we hope that very collaborative approach continues.
All right. With reaction to the throne speech, Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown, thank you.
My pleasure.